The Chargers, by the way, can be the first team since the 1990 Giants, the first team in the NFL to hold their first 10 opponents under 21 points. That's insane. This was the worst defense in the league. They've made one change, Jim Harbaugh, and a new staff. So it's funny, too, because he used to be so polarizing at Michigan. I felt like I was on an island supporting him. And now everybody loves him. He's having so much fun. Here's 30 seconds this weekend of Jim Harbaugh against the Titans.
I'm just pretending like I'm drawing a pass here. Hey, pretend like you're throwing a pass here.
Well, backside.
Yes.
I mean, I could.
Yes. Or the other side.
Or the other side. Both sides.
And they're going to go empty. Herbert rolling to the right, and here he goes, Herbert into the end zone.
That's a beast! Beast mode, baby! That Herbert, I mean, he's incredible strength to hold on to that ball.
Right.
Oh, yeah, way to go, Beast! Just calling him Beast from now on. He's a beast. Justin's a beast. Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
I love it. And it's just so much fun, and Jim's having so much fun. And his immediate success in San Francisco and the Chargers is proving two things. Number one, there's a lot of really mediocre head coaches in the NFL that are good coordinators like a Cliff Kingsbury, but you put them to the top, to the president, you put them to the CEO level, and that's not what they do. I mean, you watch Sean Payton is in salary cap hell in Denver, has a very thin roster, salary cap, has a rookie quarterback. Today, they're in the playoffs. Now, they won't end up there, but today they're a playoff team. Andy Reid has been working guys for 7 years in Kansas City or however long he's been there. They're so much better than every team in the NFL. There's a lot of guys, Brian Flores, Cliff Kingsbury. They're tremendous coordinators, but they get elevated to head coach, and guys like Harbaugh, Payton, and Andy Reid and Belichick in his prime are just working those guys. Adam Gase, coordinator, coach, disaster. Brandon Staley, coordinator, coach, disaster. But, you know, this sport wants to get the hot shot coach. So Jim Harbaugh, the second thing it proves, there's a lot of mediocre head coaches. The other thing it proves is Jim Harbaugh wins everywhere he goes very quickly. Okay? And yet he's never copied. Why? Because it proves the most important thing about a great coach is authenticity. There's one Dan Campbell. There is one Tomlin. There is one Jim Harbaugh. There was one Pete Carroll chewing his gum at 70 years old, 8,000 miles an hour. There is one McVay, one Shanahan. You've got to be authentic. You've got to be yourself. Players will sniff out a phony. And Jim can be a little different, but there's one Jim. Even his brother John doesn't feel like he's anything like Jim. And that's the key to Harbaugh. It's not schemes. He builds toughness, resilience, a culture. He is a man's man.
Yeah, so I wanted to highlight this especially for a few reasons. Mainly, first and foremost, this proves, and it's funny, going into the season, I said, I didn't know if it was going to happen this quickly, but I said we are going to be able to use Harbaugh going to the Chargers, and Herbert especially, as a reference as to why coaching matters so much, because they are going to be significantly better, and the Chargers are going to be competing for Super Bowls. And because so many people, outside of people who are actually really pro Herbert, if you're more of like a general casual fan, people don't realize just how great and special Justin Herbert is, or just now the Chargers as a whole and what their potential is. And they will. And this is just the first step in this process, quite frankly. Just imagine what he's going to do within the next 2-3 years. It's going to take a second, and considering how quickly he's been able to turn this around, I mean, it's absolutely extraordinary. It's absolutely amazing. And coaching is king. This is something that people really, really, really struggle to grasp. Fans, I mean. And I understand. I think I've talked about this with various people, various coaches, ex-players, subscribers, whatever it may be. Me and Travis O'Shea, you guys know I reference him a lot, longtime subscriber of the show, JCT Slice. Like we talk about this a lot. There's such this underappreciation, not a lot of appreciation, undervaluing of coaching. And I think it's because a couple things. One, it's because a lot of people have not played sports at a high level. And again, even if it's not even just, obviously not most people have not played in the NFL, but even just middle school, high school, some sort of competitive travel league, someone who's been around like real coaches who have also been in the pros themselves or have coached at incredibly high levels, collegiate levels. Like, you understand how important coaching is. I've been around some extraordinary coaches, some coaches who were actual professional athletes, and it's night and day, not only from me being developed as an athlete, as a player, but then also in the game and understanding the importance of decision making. And I think it is something that people really just struggle to grasp. And I don't 100% blame them. And I try my best to be like, coaching matters. And it just seems like people are always so obsessed with just the players. Everything is always on the players. Caleb Williams isn't playing that good. It's all about Caleb. Patrick Mahomes wins a Super Bowl. Nah, Andy Reid didn't win any Super Bowls before Patrick Mahomes got there. It's Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, guys, that's not the truth. It's some of the truth. Obviously, you need to be a good enough player, but that's not just the thing. If it was, then they wouldn't pay some of these coaches the amount of money that they do. Okay? They just wouldn't. And you wouldn't even need coaches. You would just have player coaches. And we obviously don't have that in any of those situations where it does exist. It does not end well. So coaching matters so much. But I get it, because who sells jerseys? Some old guy looking like Harbaugh with glasses and slacks and a tucked in shirt? Or like Justin Herbert with the long hair, Patrick Mahomes in the commercial? Like, what's cooler? When you're a kid, when you're 15 years old and you say, I want to be that guy, are you pointing to Harbaugh? And you're like, I want to be the guy holding a clipboard and clapping his hands. Like, no, you're like, I want to be Patrick Mahomes. I want to be Lamar Jackson. I want to be Justin Herbert. So I also get it, because again, when you're younger and you're growing up and becoming a fan, like, that's who you identify with. And I think maybe as you get older, especially if you have kids or you're around younger kids and stuff like that, you can appreciate teaching and coaching. And you don't even have to play sports. It could just be in your job. You have to learn how to do your job one way or the other. Someone has to coach you, teach you, whether it's construction, whether it's, I don't know, selling insurance, whatever it may be. Like, you need to be taught things. And I think, like, fans are very reluctant also sometimes to move on from a coach who has like some success, who they'll be like, oh, the coach isn't the problem. I can't tell you how many people going into the season for the Chicago Bears, so many fans defended Eberflus and said, no, Eberflus is not on the hot seat. He's on the hot seat. Look what he's done with his team defensively, this, that, and the third. And now they see the season unfold and they're like, well, this is a mess. What is going on? We got to fire Eberflus. And the Chargers held on to their head coach too long. And people were already trying to use that as a frame of reference to be like, Justin Herbert's not that good. Oh yeah, Justin Herbert. All of you guys think Justin Herbert's good, but they're not. And what has changed? I mean, Justin Herbert's balling out right now. And I know his stats aren't like through the roof, because the way this team is constructed, he's not going to be throwing for 4 touchdowns every single game. He's not going to be throwing for 400 yards a game. But they're winning games. The culture is different. There's a belief. There's an energy. I'm saying this, like, and I said this months ago, like well before this season got on track. The Chargers are absolutely, positively, undeniably going to be Super Bowl contenders. They're going to win a Super Bowl. I'm calling it right now. Within the next 5 years, they are winning a Super Bowl. There's a lot of people that think that the Patrick Mahomes and the Andy Reid train are just going to go on forever. Nothing goes on forever. And there's finally you have an elite quarterback with an elite head coach. We see how that works in Kansas City. It works very well. We saw how it worked with Tom Brady and, I almost said Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. It worked very well. Well, I got news for you. Justin Herbert has the ability to be a legitimate all-time great. Harbaugh, quite frankly, as just when we look at his coaching resume as a whole, I understand it's not all concentrated in the NFL, but if we can just kind of be a little bit looser with our standards, we can see that Harbaugh is an all-time great coach. Now, he has to prove to consistently be that and prove to be an all-time great NFL coach, but I think he will. I don't think I'm reaching here. I don't think anything that I'm saying is a hot take, although some people will perceive it that way. And I don't make statements like this. I'm not someone who's like, this team's winning a Super Bowl. Like, I do not speak in absolutes like that. I am the king of being like, well, let's look at it from this side. Let's look at it from that side. And I also always say, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see how this unfolds. I'm never afraid to say that. But when I am confident about something and I really do believe it, like, I will share that opinion. I'm not saying the Cincinnati Bengals are going to win a Super Bowl just because, like, that's fun. I can make a video. Bengals fans will love me. Joe Burrow, let's go. Haha, Patrick Mahomes fans, Joe Burrow is going to be king. Like, I could do that with so many other teams, and I don't. I am so confident that Justin Herbert, Harbaugh, and this team within the next 5 years are absolutely positively going to win a Super Bowl. They're going to compete. They're going to win the division. Someone told me the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the division for the next 7 years in a row. And I'm like, bro, that's not happening. That's not happening. You've been able to feast on bad coaching and quarterbacks throughout this division. That's changed. There's new coaches in this division. There's new quarterbacks in this division. Things are changing. Okay, and it's the Chargers and the Broncos, which I'm sure Chargers fans don't want to hear, but I think the Broncos are coming as well. I don't have as strong as confidence in the Broncos as I do the Chargers, but the Chargers are coming. If not, they're already here. I think if they can stay healthy, they should be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs this season. I think they've already kind of proven that. In their first game, they could have won, but Herbert was already banged up and injured. His foot, I don't know if it was his ankle or the plantar fasciitis at that point, but he came out of the game against the Steelers the week before, so obviously he was clearly not 100%. If he can just stay healthy and they get luck with health from some of their other pieces and weapons, they are for real. I cannot be any more clear and confident about that. Them not winning a Super Bowl within the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the exact timeline is, and them proving to be a great top contender year after year would genuinely shock me. I would genuinely be like, man, I would question my ability to actually evaluate football. I really would. I'm being 100% honest. If they don't, I would genuinely be like, man, how could I be so confident about this and be so wrong? Usually the things that I'm really that confident about, I'm at least like, maybe I'm not always right, but I'm at least within the right idea, right? I'm at least somewhere in this. So it's like the only way that it could happen is if like there's just awful injury luck, or if it's one of those insane heartbreaking things where it's like they had the win, they were gonna win, they went to take a knee, but somehow the ball got dislodged and they ran it back for a touch. Like it would have to be an absolute freak accident. Outside of those obviously ridiculous extremes, like I'm just not seeing it. So the Chargers are coming. They're gonna be here. Can't say it enough. And let's go. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? God, I always want to say the San Diego Chargers when I lived in San Diego. The LA Chargers, Justin Herbert and Harbaugh, how everything has changed for them. Where do you think this team can go this season and as well as the next couple of seasons? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.